Hey there, everybody. This is Shell with another episode of Stager Talk. So while everybody is jumping on super fast, I see that you are all coming in now. Go ahead and everybody just type in that chat box for me how long you've been in business and what state you're located. And that way it'll just tell me that all the technology is working and that I know everybody can hear me. And then hopefully you can see me. If you can't see me, fill me in so we can fix that.
I'm seeing friends in the audience. I'm seeing friends. Hi, Dixie. Hi, Robin. Hi,
Yeah,
Susan.
I know.
Awesome. And new friends.
I will go ahead and right now I'm just going to introduce, although she obviously does not need an introduction, the amazing LuAnn Nigara. How are you?
I am fabulous, and I'm so excited to be doing this with you today, Shell, and looking forward to the actual RESACON. But this is like giving us a little taste of it, so I'm super excited.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a taste. I tell you, we always have good conversations. You are a plethora of knowledge in just everything creative. It's just you've got an amazing podcast. And let's just get that out of the way, and we'll recap at the end as well. Tell everybody where they can listen to your podcast.
Yeah, so I have two podcasts. The first one is called A Well-Designed Business, and then the second one is called Window Treatments for Profit. Both podcasts, the mission is to help you create a profitable business. So the one, Well-Designed Business, is sort of designer stagery facing, and the other one is Window Treatment Pro facing. But I always say just take the word out, designer, window treatment pro, put in baker, candlestick maker. Business is business.
Business.
The core business principles apply to your business, whether it is, a multiple billion-dollar empire, or it is a solopreneur running a home decor industry business. So, but yeah, those are the two podcasts, and lots of information in both of those podcasts to help you.
Yeah, anytime your name comes up, everybody always says, "Oh, I love her podcast." That's "Oh, I love her podcast." It is a quote. You got to put merchandise on it. "Oh, I love her podcast." I think people would buy it.
Thank you.
I love it. I love it when they know who you're talking about and they're that engaged in somebody. So I think that's awesome. How long have you been in the industry? How long have you been doing what you're doing?
So the podcast will have its 8th birthday in 2 weeks. But of course, I've been in the industry for 40 years. I started as a window treatment professional. My husband and I started Window Works back in the early 80s, 82, something like that, 81. And of course, I was a professional window treatment retailer and sold custom window treatments. Designers were a big part of my business. I developed the designer trade business at Window Works. As of 2 years ago, we had 87 different interior designers that we were, privileged to be doing the window treatments for their projects various times as they come and go with their own pipeline. So with being in the adjunct industry there, I was constantly in the projects of the designers, like one of their trusted trades. So really developed a very deep, respect for the complexity of an interior designer's life, job, project. It's beyond comprehension. But the thing is, I did notice most of them weren't profitable. They were creating beautiful spaces. They were professionally, from a creative standpoint, fulfilled, but they had created themselves either a hobby or a jobby, but not a career that was wealth building. And so that was how the podcast was born, because I was like, you know what? These men and ladies are rock stars and we got to help them get some coins in their pockets.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And people with their businesses, profits are important no matter how big you want your business to go. Even if you have a small boutique firm, it needs to be profitable. Or you have a multi-million-dollar firm, needs to be profitable. It doesn't matter where you're at as far as the size of your business, because if you're working for free, it doesn't make any sense.
No, it's because then it's a hobby or a jobby. It's not a business. And the thing is, every business, no matter its size, can be profitable. There are techniques, there are principles, there are practices. They do not change. They scale, layers get built in, but the core practices and principles of a profitable business are the same, whether your business is going to gross $100,000 and you're going to earn $50,000 for yourself, or your business is going to gross $4 million and you're going to gross $300,000 for yourself. You know what I mean? So the thing is the same. It's just the scale that you personally choose to drive it to. But regardless of that scale, there are metrics that you should be paying attention to so that your profitability is in line with your gross revenue, so.
Yeah, we talked a little earlier before we came on about confidence. And, when people price their fees and they deliver that, and then a customer will balk at that and they ask for the D word and they want that discount. Hi, I don't like the D word. I tell you, I am just not a fan of it. I would never encourage anybody to do it. I think there's ways to be able to handle it, but the issue, you can have it, you can give your bid, it can be profitable for you, it could be fair, a fair competitive price. So everybody always wants to feel like they're getting a deal. And then the person, the service provider will often just, okay, I want to get the job, and they'll lower the price. And what they're not understanding is that everybody else has more skin in the game, especially in staging. The agent's going to make more money. The homeowner's going to make more money hand over fist than what you are. And you are the reason that they are doing it all. So if you discount that, it reduces your profit, not theirs.
Right.
And it's the confidence to be able to handle that so many people lack. And I know that I found over the years that you can tell people all the things, how to say it. You can write the script for them. But I'll tell you what, old cowboy told me one time, he's like, the only way that you're going to get better at riding is to ride. You just have to do it over and over. You just have to practice to get your confidence there, and also to believe in yourself. And I think a lot of newer people that come into the industry, they know they're good, they like what they're doing, but for some reason, I think a lot of the imposter syndrome comes through, I think is what it is that, so they have a little bit of a lack of self-confidence, and then they'll go ahead and deliver whatever news they have to their clients with that lack of self-confidence.
The thing about it is that I think there has to be a fundamental understanding on the part of every stager that their service, by definition, is a luxury service. You do not need a home staged to sell it.
Right.
You stage a home for one reason, for two reasons. One of two reasons, and possibly both: to sell it faster and to sell it at a higher rate, a higher dollar volume. Why else? What, for shits and giggles? I got nothing better to do, but let me pay somebody to put some furniture in my house and I have to move it out? No, there are two reasons. I want to sell it faster than the guy whose house is in stage, and I want to make more money on it than the guy whose house is in stage. So when you sit in that as a stager, you want a discount on my services? No, you don't have to have my services. See, you can just say no. Yes. You can just not have your home staged. This is not a necessity. You don't need it. And as soon as you understand that you are bringing more money and less in a faster time to a person, hey, want some? It's this much money. Don't really value it. Don't think it's worth it. Don't buy it. It's okay.
It's okay. That mindset is so crucial, in my opinion, because how many times have you, I know you've been in the situation as I've been in the situation. You're negotiating with somebody, they're asking you to come down, and you rebut that in whatever fashion that you do professionally, and you stand your ground and you don't do it. And then you stop talking.
Right.
Stop. He who speaks next loses. Right.
Stop judging. My mother-in-law.
It's like, do something. Just put a piece of gum in your mouth. I don't care what you do. Stop talking at that point. 9 times out of 10, what happens, LuAnn? They sign.
They say, okay, thanks. I'll take it.
I'll take it.
The thing is like when I deliver this message, I get all riled, right? I'm like, you don't have to have it. Just say no. Blah, blah. But the idea is that when you actually are delivering it, it's matter of fact. It's like, oh, here's what I love. Oh, that seems like a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Here's my question. Based on what exactly? Wait, based on what? Like, based on what? Because, so I can't do these live things without mixing my inside voice and my outside voice, right? So the inside voice is based on what? Like the price of eggs? Like what? But outside voices, that's interesting because your house is going for 1.5. I have a proven track record of getting at least 25% more on the selling of a house when I stage, and also getting deals closed 30% faster. So, on 1.5, you will probably earn an extra, because I can't do math in my head, $250,000, and my $20,000 feels expensive. That's interesting. Based on what?
Yep.
Like, stop. Like, but that's just it. You got to know your stuff. You got to
Yes.
know why staging matters. When you know it, and you can transform that information in a deliverable that the person who's balking at your price can be like, and my thing is like, I'm sassy. You got to do it in your voice, but I'd be like, oh, so you don't want to trade 20K for 250K? Yeah, okay, you do you, dude. You do you. I'll take my toys. I'll go home.
Go play
Right?
somewhere else. Yeah.
I don't know. I just think that staging actually is better positioned than interior design. I
Oh, I
actually,
100%.
to play that takeaway game, because people technically could say they need their homes designed, but they don't need them designed by a designer. So it's like, oh, you got all kinds of tastes. You can get all these details on Wayfair. Bye, go ahead. But a stager, that is a skill that is not normal. That is not normal. Doing that kind of creativity on that kind of space to make it look beautiful, but not personal, get it done in a minute, not in a month. That's beyond complexity and value. And so I mean, the only way I would ever make a deal with anybody on a stage, if it was a multiple deal event. You got 3 other houses? Okay, let's make a deal. This is your one and only house and you're not going to sell again for 10 years? Fine. Take 60 days longer and get $25,000, $50,000, $200,000 less. Bye.
Yeah, you can't be afraid to walk away from things because, like I said, people end up usually saying, "Okay, we'll go ahead and do it." They just want to see, because if you don't get, if you don't ask, so you can't fault people for asking for it. But I agree. I think that I'm a little sassy as well. I always tell people when I'm coaching people, I'm like, "Listen, I'll tell you how it was that I'm going to say it.
Don't
I don't
recommend you
recommend.
do
I
it.
don't recommend that you imitate me. I'm the only me. I can pull me off. I can pull off me. I don't know if you can pull. I don't know. You can be me. It's dangerous. It's risky. Don't do it. Find your own words. But in reality, it's like, wow, it's really staging. It's too much. It's like it can actually be free.
Yeah.
So if you make that 250,000 and I charged you 20, wasn't it free?
Yeah, exactly. No, and the thing about it too is it's like we're dealing with the objection after the proposal. What really has to happen is the setting of the stage from the beginning. I am not a commodity. I am not a discount product. You are totally engaging in a luxury here. If you understand that, keep passing go and keep collecting $200. If you don't get that, you probably should take a left turn now and go to Baltic Avenue. Like, stop. What are you doing over here? This is Park Avenue. Like, stop. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to set that from the beginning. And, the other thing I would say to you is, think about yourself as a garden variety consumer. Like, somebody gives you a proposal, whether it's for 2,000 or 20,000, and all they do is say, I need you to cut the price, or will you discount it? Whatever words they use. I'm sorry. If you just look at me and say, okay, this much off, I'm like, wait, what if I hadn't asked you? Like, are you overpricing because you expect? Now my whole brain is like, this person goes from my brain, my lane of integrity, to watch this person. This person is like kind of shystery.
Yep. I've got a good line for that. Michelle Mitch, who is one of the ultimate professionals in our industry, she's been professional stager of the year several times, taught me this. We don't overinflate our prices just to negotiate them later. We give a fair competitive price and we don't negotiate later.
Exactly. And if you ever are in a situation where it really is, whatever the other intangible benefits are, sometimes we want to get a deal because of some marketing aspect. Maybe it's going to be, all over the town, whatever, because it's a new development, like there are ways and things that you can objectively look at and say, there's some other benefit to me here other than the dollar that I'm going to collect. So my thing always in all the years with custom window treatments and even with the podcast is, I'm not going to give you money off, but let me think about what I can give you extra.
Yeah.
You see, because that's not like, that doesn't feel yucky. That doesn't feel like, wait, if I hadn't asked you for $2,000 off, you wouldn't have given it to me. That feels like, I don't set my prices so that we can negotiate. I give you a fair price. However, you know what? You're building a new high rise. There's going to be, you want me to stage the lobby and there's going to be 40 people that are going to buy units in here. What can we do so that I get meaningful introductions to those people who are buying in your building? I'm willing to figure out what I could do for you in exchange for that. Right? Now he turns around and says, well, I want $5,000 off. Well, I'm still going to say no to dollars off. I'm going to be like, that's not good enough for me. I can do this for every job you give me. I'll send you $500. And now 20 people just went, that's illegal. There's ways, people. There's ways. Okay. You know what I mean? Or you could, whatever is meaningful. And that's why your introductory calls, your discovery calls, your first initial consultations, it's so critical to be listening, because you're looking for the hot button that you're later going to push when it's time to close. So you can be like, you mentioned, I remember in our first conversation, you mentioned it was super important that, the staging happened on a Saturday and Sunday. And I got to tell you, my crews don't work Saturday and Sunday, but we go ahead with this deal. I'll do the overtime on the crews. So we do Saturday and Sunday, like whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not giving you money off, but I'm putting more value in.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's, there's so many scenarios out there with people. And I think that just stagers, designers, just get creative. There's no reason why we can't get creative and kind of think outside of the box when it comes to being able to speak to people. And it's also, you touched on it. I always have the saying too, is that the close isn't at the end, it's at the beginning. And it's the process. It's developing that relationship with somebody, and the typical close, it's just admin work. It's all it is. It's you, they should have already, you already have them and it's agreed. And we're just tying it up here with this contract and this payment to get you on the schedule.
Yeah. It's funny because there's a conference in the window covering industry that I've spoken at many years. And I used to do a 3-hour master class. And it was the first time I did it, I proposed it and I called it how to, how to close luxury sales or something like that, mastering the luxury sales, closing luxury sales. And the first time I did the presentation, the 3-hour workshop, all of the feedback forms come in to the organizer, like loved her, energy great, so much good information, blah, blah, blah. But we never got to how do we close the luxury sale? And I was like, because my whole teaching was, the close is like you just said, it's the admin, do all of this and it writes itself. So then I had to change the name of the workshop the next several years to be the close begins at hello and the luxury sale. Like, you know what I mean? Something like that.
It's true. It's true. You really got to figure out what people's objectives are. What is their, you have your own mission for your business. What is their mission? What are their goals? How quickly do they need to get to them? All those things are those little clues. Also, if you're listening, you'll hear a lot of red flags too. So you can decide if you want to not bid the job for whatever reason. But if it's a good deal and it's a good job and you think you can help somebody, knowing that those bits and pieces of information, it's just gold. And I also think being just authentic. I have never understood with people that struggle so hard with talking to clients about things. And how do I say this? And I'm like,
speak.
Just say it. Just say it. I mean, I speak every single day. I'm shocked sometimes what comes out of my face, but it can be done. And there's just a way to do it, just to be authentic with people and just having a conversation and explaining.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I said like before is a lot of times, like when somebody says, oh, that's a lot of money, or that seems like a lot of money. That is like one of the biggest things people will say to me. What do I say to that? Well, what do you actually think when they say that? 8 out of 10 times you're going to think, what do you know about what this stuff costs? So say a version of that. Nice. Like, so based on what? Like, because here's the thing. If you've done a good discovery call and a good initial consultation, you know if they've ever hired a stager before. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and you know who it was. So either they've never hired a stager, so what's their frame of reference? Or they've hired a stager, but the services that stager delivers or the reviews that stager has or blah, blah, blah. And you could be like, well, I mean, if you're referring to whatever price point you paid with the stager you discussed with me, I think we've established very clearly that my services and deliverables are head and shoulders above that. So comparing my pricing to that isn't logical. So
Yeah.
now what, right?
Yeah.
Like my point is, to your point, I'm piggybacking on your point. You don't need permission to say what's on your mind when you're in a sales conversation. You do need to do it with respect. You do need to do it with kindness. You do need to do it in an open way. But if you really are like, what the heck is that? Ask what the heck is that in a nice way.
Yeah. We hear sometimes that people, when you said you're sassy, and I sass and joke as well, where people have said, we didn't use the whole 60 days on the contract. We closed after 32. Can we get a refund? And then stagers get so upset going, well, what do I say to that? And I'm like, I'd be having a field day with that one. I'd be going, oh, Mike, are you kidding me? A refund? Most of my people give me a tip for that. I'll take your $2,000 tip if you like. And I would laugh it off.
Yeah.
Just laugh it off.
Yeah.
But you made your point.
That's the high five. And to look, there's a lot of people that aren't going to be able to say it like that, to our point, right? But there's a way for you to say that in your lane. And it could be as simple as, that's an unusual request, because so often when the homes I stage close under the agreed time, or however the language is, they actually look to give me a bonus. Like I've actually been given a bonus in that situation. And I don't know that anyone's like, I did my job 10 times over.
Right.
Like, so you want money off on it? Like all of that just stays off the table. You're saying that without saying it. But even if no one has ever given you a bonus, he doesn't know that, she doesn't know that. You just say, oh, that's such an unusual way of looking at it. Typically when the house I've staged closes under the deadline, people have like done everything from kidding about giving me a bonus to actually giving me one.
Yeah. And I think also the relationship that you've had. So I know for me, I think I would be more of a person who have a tendency to be able to have a joking relationship with somebody, because I'm going to build that through the entire process of when I'm starting to work with somebody. And, but then other people might not. So it's like the mere fact that somebody would ask that, to me, I would be literally shocked if somebody had done that, but
and I'll tell you, you could put that in your beginning conversation. I mean, I'm just visualizing it now. I could see, as I'm signing the contract with the person and saying, you could see that this staging agreement is for 60 days. And I'm just going to give you a tip here. My goal is that I'm not in your house for 60 days. My goal is that I've done my job so well that your home sells sooner. That's a plus. That's not a, hey, where do we get money back at that time? Understand, this is the goal of this. So if this happens, this is all of us saying yay to each other. Like, again, find your words, find your calm way, find your normal way to say it, but you certainly can set the stage for, in the occasion this happens, this is a standing ovation for my company. Yay, us.
Yeah, for sure. So we talked earlier as well about the mindset of young entrepreneurs staging, and some not having the CEO mindset. And while most stagers, decorators, designers call them like a principal or an owner, and they might not have that title CEO, alphabet soup after their name, but it's the mindset that's different that really separates the people. So let's talk about that for a little bit. Your topic is Blueprint for Success, the 10 non-negotiables of top industry CEOs.
Right.
These are going to be the top 10 things that you just have to have.
Yeah. And to your point, Shell, when I'm saying CEOs here, I don't mean the CEO of Kravet, although these are shared by those CEOs. I'm talking about you, the CEO that is a solo stager that is going to do $300,000 this year, or you, the stager that is a team of 40 and you're going to do 5 million this year. You are the CEO. And when you put that hat on and you recognize that, you start to run your business differently. You start to run it like a business with principles and strategies. And that only makes everything in your business better. Not only your gross profits, but the net drip to you as the owner, but the available money that you have to invest, reinvest in your products and your services, reinvest in your team, reinvest in technology, like whatever it is that you want to do with your money. Because the thing about it is if you're running your business and the one thing and only thing you're getting out of it is a salary, then go work for somebody else and don't go to sleep at night with all of this on your head.
Yeah.
You
It's a
know,
lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of responsibility to run your own business.
right? And it's risk and reward. I'm risking my entire livelihood, my family, my mortgage, my everything, my time in order for the reward. But if the reward is equal to whatever reward I could get by working for a colleague, what am I doing? Like
Yeah.
what? And my thing is the world needs people who are A+ employees. We all need them. We can't do our things without them. There's
Right.
no lack. There's no like you're only like no, it's recognize your lane. And if your lane is to be an entrepreneur and own your own business, then recognize that's CEO lane. That's your lane. Not Indian lane, that's chief lane.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree there. And there's no, if you're not that person, that's okay as well. It's totally okay. I can't do what Felicia does. And there's things that I do that Felicia's not going to do. And we all have our different strengths. And that's what you've got to find your rock star people on every single level within your organization. And also with yourself, I think one of the bigger problems I think a lot of people have is the delegation when they're starting to grow and letting go. And for someone who, for me, especially with RESA, the first 6.5 years, pretty much just all by myself, did every single job out there for a long time. Boy, let me tell you, delegation, I like that D word because you can just delegate and then it frees you up to do the things that you're great at or the things that you really want to learn about or you really want to be able to do. You know, CEOs, we got to direct traffic a lot. And you definitely, as a CEO, I don't think want to be really in the weeds of everything, you know, going on, but empower your people to be rock stars. And, you know, I also think it's important with CEOs, the things you have to do is empower your team and then get out of the way and, you know, let them do what they do best.
Yeah. And the thing is, you could be a solo, or you might even have like, say, 1 or 2 employees. Maybe you have a bookkeeper and an assistant, but you have a painter, you have a carpenter, you have a tiler, you have a you know, like a warehousing thing. You might not have them all on your payroll, but you are the captain, the CEO of all of those things. So how you show up to each of those relationships is also critical, right? Like you get the best work out of your trade partners when they know you're showing up in charge of your stuff. Not reactive, not like, oh my God, that happened. I didn't know. I forgot. It's like, no. How do you show up and what do you present to even your extended team who is not literally your W-9 employees? Also very important.
Yep, absolutely. Systems, strategy, process, all those things you're going to touch on. Yes.
Lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my.
Oh my.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a non-negotiable that you've got to get your systems buttoned down. I mean, and here's the thing about systems to recognize every day. Like we just had a marketing meeting this morning. This podcast has been on the planet for 8 years. And we just added like 4 subsystems to podcast production this morning. And my thing is we all talk it through. We all agree who does what, when does it get passed to the next person? At what point during the production is it going to be deadline? What does deadline during production for that deliverable? And then we get all done talking about it. And I look at Mariali, my EA, and I say, now go build it in Monday, put all the little steps there. And then I look at all the other eyeballs and say, when I get there, I need to see the different, did it, didn't do it, working on it, because, you know, I'm like a nut job. If I go into Monday and the labels aren't changing, I'm like, how am I supposed to know what you guys are doing? Like, no, we have to follow the system, and the system has a way to trigger everybody to do the next thing. And we have outside contractors in our Monday. You know, my social media person, Hamilton Creatives, is out there. I've got 3 writers that are subcontracted. I've got Gloria Brand, who is our creative director. Like, it's not just, you could have in your process, in your Asana, in your Monday, you could have your window treatment person, you could have your painter in there. You know what I mean? And it's like bang, 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 everything happens.
Yep. I love it. Love it. Love it. I'm super excited to have you. You're going to be just an amazing session at RESACON. If you have not got your ticket, it looks like Joanna has put the link in the chat box. We have just a minute here. If anybody wants to ask LuAnn a question, go ahead and put it in that chat box. I'll take a first come, first served. In the meantime, LuAnnNigara.com to contact you. You've got books, you've got the podcast.
We got LuAnn University is in enrollment right now for the regular 5-week courses started this week. So it's, I mean, if you got in this week, you could still get in. But we have our 3-hour intensives that will run the week of March, I want to say 1st. So that registration is still open, and that we've got intensives on social selling for creatives. We've got video for creatives. We've got storytelling for Instagram. Like we've got designer, Peter Lang, the designer CPA, on next level conversations about, you know, how to analyze your numbers. There's quite a few 3-hour intensives, and that registration is open now.
Beautiful. All right. You heard it here, everybody. If you are on the fence about getting to RESACON, I say this year after year after year, jump off the fence, run to your computer, don't walk, and go to resaconvention.com and get your ticket today. Early bird pricing is going to end on, I believe, the 13th. I think the increased price starts on the 14th. So get your ticket now so you can get yourself registered at the best possible price. And even at the general pricing, the pricing is of so much value to what it is that you're going to get. You're going to absolutely love it. The food is amazing at RESACON. The M Resort is absolute luxury all the way. Everything is held at the same resort that we're doing. All of the meetings are in the same place, so it's very easy to be able to navigate around. The logistics are amazing. We have an amazing check-in process, and we have breakfasts, lunch, an awards dinner for the Home Staging Industry Awards, and LuAnn is going to be co-hosting the awards with me this year. Thank you very much. We're going to have a blast.
That should be a little crazy.
It will be so much fun, where we get to honor the industry's top, you know, vacant stagers, occupied stagers, short-term rental categories now, and our Leaderships and Legends Award as well. So get your ticket today. Get to RESACON, and we will see you this summer. LuAnn, such a pleasure to always have you. Great to talk to you. Cannot wait to see you this summer, and thank you.
I'm so grateful for the opportunity, Shell. This is going to be outstanding. Thank you. And this was so much fun today, too.
Excellent. For everybody else, thank you for joining us. Until next time, happy staging. Bye.
Bye.